What's up? Welcome back. Move the Sticks, presented by the U.S. Marine Corps, DJ Bucky, and we are joined by a big-time signal caller in this year's draft. Patrick Mahomes from Texas Tech joins us. Patrick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming in, man. This is, look, we think we're busy this time of year, but we just heard what you've been up to schedule-wise. This has been a hectic time for you.
Yeah, I think I've been in the same city since my pro day, same city, maybe 2 days from one time. I mean, I've been going everywhere, traveling everywhere, and trying to, just have a good time, get some exposure, and come up with the draft boards.
Well, everyone wants to know, how many visits have you taken to this point?
I think I'm gonna take 10 visits and 8 workouts, I believe. I might be missing one or two, but that's what I think I've done.
Well, I want to go. We're talking about the draft process. I want to go way back into high school and. Growing up, baseball is kind of the family business. You decide you want to play football, and you decide to go to Texas Tech. Where else? What other schools were in the mix for you, and why'd you go to Lubbock?
Yeah, it was pretty much Texas Tech or baseball. I had offers from Houston, North Texas, and Rice, but really, Coach Kingsbury, his loyalty to me. That's what brought me there, and just his track record with quarterbacks as well.
The thing about Texas Tech, they already had a pretty good quarterback there in Davis Webb. What was it like to compete with a guy like that during your time at Texas Tech, and what was the relationship like after you eventually won the job?
Yeah, even when I committed there, they had Baker Mayfield, Davis Webb, and Michael Brewer, who started at Virginia Tech once he transferred. But just competing with Davis, I knew he was going to be in this position as well. I knew he was an NFL caliber quarterback. He was kind of got in two good quarterbacks in one spot, and we still respect each other. We still talk. We talk football and stuff like that. But it was tough during the time. We pushed each other but at the same time, we respect each other, and no one was out to get anybody.
What's the biggest misconception about your offense?
Yeah, I think that the quarterback doesn't have to do a lot. And with Coach Kingsbury, him putting so much on me, it wasn't like we were looking at those signs on the sideline or doing all that stuff. He let me audible or change any play I wanted to. I had all that freedom, and at the same time, I had to call the protection to the line, tell the receivers what routes they had to run, and then I had to tell the running back what he had as well.
In spite of all the responsibilities that you've had on there, there's still some people that would be skeptical about you coming out of an air raid system because we haven't seen someone come from that system and have success at the NFL level. Why are you different?
Yeah, people can be skeptical because it hasn't happened before. Really, at the air raid system, no one has came out and really transferred their game. But with me, I feel like, first off, physically, I have a lot more talent than a lot of the guys that have came through. I can make a lot more throws, a little bit bigger, take a little bit more hits and stuff like that. And then, just mentally, I think Coach Kingsbury not doing the sign stuff, putting so much on me is going to help prepare me for the next level, having to change plays, having to see coverages and stuff like that.
I want to jump into a little bit of the tape here. So I went back and watched a cut-up of all your 3rd and 6+ throws. Okay, So ended up being 93 total plays. And I saw some great stuff in there. I saw a big arm. I saw you off-platform, which you're kind of known for, making these crazy throws off-platform. But there were times I thought you had a little bit of a clean pocket. I didn't think you were transferring your weight and got a little bit reckless with the football down the field. How do you balance, you got such physical talent, but how do you balance that talent with being just a little bit more safe with the football? Have teams talked to you about that, and what's your own assessment of your play?
Just knowing the NFL game is different than the Big 12. Big 12, you have to score almost every drive in order to win the game. Where in the NFL, you can score 14 points and win games. That wasn't really heard of in the Big 12.
That's not going to get it in the Big 12.
But, college football really in general. But, it's something where I'm going to have to learn to take a little bit less risk, but at the same time keep that mentality that I want to move the ball. I want to score every drive. But if something happens, we're 3rd and 15, it might be nice just to get nice 8 or 9 yards, punt the ball, and flip the field. And that's stuff that you just have to learn with process and with time in the NFL.
But you're a gunslinger. How hard is it for you to concede that the defense may win on a down and say, hey, I'm just going to dump it to the back? How hard is that for someone who has so much talent, so much arm talent, to say, hey, sometimes they win, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to do it the right way?
Yeah, it's something I'm going to have to learn as I go. When I'm young, I might make a couple more mistakes. I think you see it a lot with Matthew Stafford. I feel like with Matthew Stafford, he was kind of a gunslinger when he first came out. He would always try to take those chances. But as he's kind of settled his game down a lot, he can see he was almost MVP caliber season this last year. So, he's kind of settled down, and with time, he's learned when to make those throws and when not to.
I'm glad you said Stafford because I have that down in my notes, and just some of the plays and some of the throws I see you make, it's uncanny how much it reminds me of Matthew Stafford. So when you study his game and see some of the different things he can do, have you ever adopted anything, especially right here, watching him throw across his body right there? We always say, look, No. Oh, okay. You got to have a big time arm to make some of those throws. But when you watch Stafford, do you see a little bit of yourself there?
Yeah, definitely the arm talent of being able to switch your positions depending on where you need to make the throw and what lane you have to throw it in, and then definitely just always keeping your eyes downfield. That's the biggest thing to me. I'm not the fastest guy, so why would I run? Why would I not put it in the hands of the fast receivers, let the playmakers make the plays?
You know, it's funny. You guys talked about Matthew Stafford. I compared you to a little bit of Jay Cutler because Jay Cutler at Vanderbilt had a similar situation where he had to put everything on him. And he was a gunslinger, and it's always been a challenge for him to learn how to tone it down so he could play winning football. When you look at Jay Cutler, do you see any similarities in terms of the way that you play or the talent that you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, his arm strength is something that I try to get to. I mean, he is a guy who can sling the ball. I've watched him play, but at the same time, he's had some success in the NFL. It's just he hadn't figured it out all the way. But I mean, you see guys like that. I mean, just the heart, passion he's playing with right there. I mean, you want to go out there and throw balls everywhere and throw touchdowns.
What about your comparison you have? Like we talked about what we kind of see in your play a little bit. What do you see in yourself, or what are you trying to strive to be?
Yeah, the guy I try to describe to be, I mean, it's for sure Aaron Rodgers. I watch a lot of his film, how quick his release is, how he extends plays but still gets back to platform and fundamentally sound and makes throws. That's what I'm trying to get to. Because, I mean, he does extend plays and make crazy throws, but you want to see he gets back to that fundamental sounds outside the pocket.
No question.
You know, I think the big thing with Aaron Rodgers, when you look at him, is he has the ability to play off platform, but he also can play a very disciplined and detailed style of ball, which would be the challenge. When you look at the way that he operates, his mechanics and his footwork, has there been anything that you've been able to glean from just watching him where you say, you know what, I can tighten up my footwork and I think I can play in that manner?
I mean, yeah, you said it. I mean, he does the extend the play stuff. He can do that stuff and kill you there. But if you want to put him in the pocket and hold him in the pocket, he can deadly accurate and can kill you that way as well. I think you saw it with the Cowboys this last year. I mean, he tore them up from the pocket, just picking them apart and making throws, and that's just for the fundamentals and really working on his game, and I feel like that's something I'm trying to do and trying to get to.
One of the things I wanted to do when you were coming in today, I want to refresh myself a little bit because it's been a while since I watched you. So I hadn't seen the TCU game, so I popped that on and watched it. I want to test your recall a little bit here. Late in that game, I want to say a little bit over a minute left in the game. You guys were down 7, need a touchdown. You lead a nice drive right down the field. What was the touchdown pass that you hit right there?
I hit we call it Coke LA lock. It's a little pop play, and then we have a first read's a little like pop by the wide receiver, and then the Z has a delay under coming behind him. And I threw it to the under.
You got him and got a touchdown. And they go to overtime. It was a great game.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't think it was ever going to end.
Yeah.
So it ended up going 2 overtimes, right? So then you go and you take off. Describe the play where you had the touchdown run there in overtime.
Yeah, so we had a pass play called. I went through my second read, and I just saw them all open up. They were kind of like a two-man type thing, so they were kind of all following their guys, and it gets two-man, the run for the quarterback's deadly. And so I just took off trying to get the first down, and all of a sudden I was like, man, you can get to the end zone. So I just ran it up in there.
I loved it. It was a good tape, man.
So how unusual, like your circumstances are a little unusual because you grew up in a home where your father was a pro athlete. What have been some of the things that you've been able to learn from his success as a pro baseball player, being a pitcher in the major leagues for 11-plus years?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just the hard work that people don't see behind professional athletes. I mean, I saw all that. When you're young, everybody thinks, oh, they're just so talented. They hit all these home runs, and that just comes to them so easy. They don't see Alex Rodriguez in the batting cage when no one else is, just hitting off a tee. Hitting off the tee just straight to the back of the net and making sure everything is perfect every single day. So just seeing that stuff, I know what it's going to take to be great in the MLB. I mean, in the NFL, and then just by seeing those guys in the MLB.
Well, we've got our 3 H questions we're going to ask you here in just a second. But before we get to that, Bucky loves when I talk about food. So the 50-yard line, how many of the little blueberry muffins can you have before you get to your steak dinner there in Lubbock?
I usually don't really eat blueberry muffins. Not my thing. I'm kind of kind of bad food I have to get away from is that Tex-Mexican food that I like to eat. So
Strong.
I have to get away from the queso and the stuff like that.
Strong. Have you been to the 50-yard line?
I have been there one time, and it is nice.
Strong steak. I'm telling you, blueberry muffins. Who serves blueberry muffins as an appetizer? Very little basket out there.
I mean,
it's
coming
strong.
off it sounds like that was
strong.
a major highlight for you. But I'm gonna ask you.
But the thing was, when I was going back there in Texas Tech, there weren't any players, so I'd be in there scouting, and I leave depressed, and I go, 50-yard line. We get some little blueberry muffins.
That's your highlight. So that's DJ's highlight on the road in Lubbock. But I'm gonna ask you, what has been the greatest highlight of your career coming up?
Definitely winning at Texas on Thanksgiving night, my sophomore year. I struggled that first half. I felt like I had some stuff go my way, but I really struggled. And I remember Coach Kingsbury coming up to me and saying, hey, we can still win this game. And I made a big throw late, and we ended up going down, running the ball in and winning it. And just winning there was like the first time in 19 years Tech had won in Austin. So it was definitely a big moment in my career.
That's definitely a big deal. All right, next one is greatest hardship. So what's the greatest hardship you've had to overcome in your life?
In my life, I would probably say just kind of my parents and them separating. But as a football player, for sure, just sitting when I first got to Texas Tech. Davis Webb's a great quarterback, but as a competitor, you think you're the best quarterback ever. So, it's something where I sat and I kind of got down on myself a little bit, and I got thrown in the game, and I don't think I was ready. And so that was kind of the turning point in my career when I was like, hey, you got to focus up. You don't know when your opportunity is going to come. And, it kind of was a great learning example for me, and something I look back on going to NFL is you got to make sure you're ready for every opportunity.
So who would be your biggest hero?
My biggest hero would probably be my mom. If I had to say one person, my mom. My dad is awesome just to see him play. And then my godfather, just watching LaTroy Hawkins, he played 21 years in MLB. Just kind of those people are people and women that I really just look up to, and they give me advice.
All right, well, before we get out of here, I got to selfishly ask you another question here. Are my Padres ever going to be any good? I might get your dad and your godfather out of the come back and help us out a little bit.
I don't know. They'll have a young outfielder or something.
Yeah,
like
we got Manny Margot as a nice little center fielder. We got Hunter Renfroe. See?
Yeah.
You know what's going on in the thoughts. Do you have a favorite baseball team?
I'm a Rangers fan.
Yeah.
And we're struggling right now. But, we got some young talented hitters. We got to finish off the bullpen and we'll be good.
Yeah, we need some starters. We need a little bullpen. Anyways, Padres need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's been great to visit with you, Patrick. We wish you the best of luck going forward, man. It's going to be a fun journey to watch. We talk about it all the time, behind the scenes and on our show. Your name of all the quarterbacks is coming up more and more and more. When you talk to people around the league, you got a lot of folks excited and getting a chance to meet with you. I can see why.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.